Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to another episode of Sour Graps, I guess. I don't know. Kate's under the weather and sick, so you got the brick wall again, kind of. And I don't just mean Alex Cardoza, because he's also a brick wall who is so stringent in his opinions, he cannot be moved. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's me, Pawlowski, and with me is other Alex, as we affectionately call him, Alex Cardoza.
I love
that. Dos Alexis tonight, and yeah, it's good. Dos Equis is good, but Dos Alexis is better.
Yeah, double the pleasure, double the fun. I don't know. Is that what they used to say?
I
don't know.
I don't think Dos Equis. I don't think that was their slogan. I think that was more of a. I think it was a gum, some kind of gum with twins in the. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Send in your super chats at the bottom of the little deal here on YouTube, or go to humperchats.com. Send it in. I don't think this feels like I'm a spooky ghost. Woo, coming through the wall. I'm gonna get rid of this background thing. That's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, thanks guys for being here. Go to humperchats.com to leave a question, comment, hot take, insult. I don't know, whatever you want to do. So yes, we are. We're here together. Orion Ben says, "How long will it take Alex Prime to break Alex Dos?" I don't know. We always start with Rampage, so I guess we'll do that again tonight. But I couldn't break you any harder than Sammy broke Jey Uso tonight.
Oh,
so
wow.
We'll talk about that for sure. Tom LaValle says, "I'm seeing double for Alexis." There you go. So Rampage. I defended AEW and they were like, okay, this is crazy. Why does Penta get a title shot versus Jon Moxley on Dynamite? And I was like, I mean, at least AEW acknowledges important matches elsewhere in the wrestling world. He had that huge victory over Viano, the mask versus mask. That photo of him completely bloody, holding up another man's face as though he was Hannibal Lecter, went viral. They were acknowledging that, giving him a big spot. He's a current champion elsewhere in AEW as a part of the one third of the trios champions. They don't use the rankings anymore. If you're going to use them, I say you have to adhere to them. If you're not, then they're bullshit and get them the hell out entirely. And it looks like they've done the second thing. So I defended them giving Penta a shot on Wednesday. I love me some Daddy Magic. Big fan of his hard nipples. However, I don't know. This wasn't a title match, was it? It was just like it was an eliminator match?
Yeah. They're having all these weird elimination matches.
Whatever. The eliminator match, whatever. If you win, if you beat Moxley tonight, you get a title shot later. All right. Whatever. I couldn't see whether or not it was a title match. If it was, I would have had some problems. But I do love Daddy Magic. I think he's great, Matt Menard. And this match was fine. I thought it probably should have been over in about 5 minutes. Like, I love Daddy Magic, but he shouldn't be going 13 minutes with the world champ. Like, it's just not that's not what you want to do with Moxley right now, I don't think. Even if Cool Hand Ange gets involved on the outside. It's just not how I would book it. But match was fine. Moxley won. We'll talk about the post-match promos afterwards, but what do you think of the match?
Yeah, I thought it was just fine. You said, it went a little too long. I thought Moxley should have just walked in there and knocked him out. But Menard's actually good in the ring, so why not let him showcase a couple things? He's kind of been missing out of the in-ring action stuff. So
yeah,
I love it. I what a better way to bring him back than against the champ, and the champ beats his ass.
Yeah. Kishara helpfully saying that Yuta got double booked. So they make this one quickly with Daddy Magic. What was Yuta supposed to do on this show? Was he supposed to wrestle Daddy Magic? I don't know what was going on. I saw the little thing where, like you just said, I'm sorry, I'm double booked. I won't be able to be at Rampage. Instead, Moxley versus Matt Menard. And I was like, well, were you going to wrestle Moxley?
There's something going on there.
I missed what.
Yeah.
If you're gone, someone should step in for you. So did Matt Menard step in for you, or did Moxley step in for you? Either way doesn't make sense to me.
Warren B says it was supposed to be Yuta. Mox was a fill-in for the BCC.
So why wouldn't Claudio take on Matt Menard? Like, Moxley's already wrestled once this week on television. Listen, I think there's a very big happy medium between Roman Reigns never on television, won't wrestle on TV ever, and Jon Moxley 2 TV matches in a week in the span of 3 days, mind you. So I don't understand why it wouldn't be Claudio versus Matt Menard personally. If that's not whatever, I don't care. This was fine. It ended up all right, and it got us into a little thing promoting for next week when Swerve came. Not Swerve. That's different.
That's
Stokely came out, and he was with Tyga Style, Lee Moriarty, and he said, "How about this? I'm pissed to the point of passivity, or you are. One of us is. And next week, how about this? You and my boy Lee Moriarty on Dynamite for the world title." And then they threw to a little video that somebody made with Canva.
Tiger
it was cute,
style.
But it was like 40 seconds long, if that. And Mox was like, "All right, whatever. Nice presentation, kid. I'm gonna kick your ass." I don't, like the challenge is accepted. The challenge is I do love that it's that we get this. Tom says, "Mox, we need you to fight." Okay, I'm in. We didn't even tell you against 2. Don't care. I'll fight. I love that. Like, Moxley's the guy who's like, "Listen, I was scheduled to go on vacation, but if I'm coming into the office, I'm going to do the work of everybody in my division." And it's like, you can take it easy, dude. You're supposed to be on vacation. No, if you're going to bring me to work, then I'm going to work. Like that's so I love that about him. A workaholic, Jon Moxley. That's the one thing you don't have to go to rehab for. And that's good. Good for you. I'm excited for Moriarty versus Moxley. That should be good. Moriarty's really great. We haven't seen him in the ring a lot on Dynamite or Rampage, as far as I can remember. But it might be the first time we've seen him in action since he's been with the firm. And I want to see this new crazy version of Lee Moriarty, because he's obviously the one who's not that he is personally, but in the group of henchmen in a movie, in the action movie, he's the coked up lunatic. Like there's always one coked up lunatic in the group of henchmen. He's him. And I think it works.
Yeah. Bring him out.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. That's good. I appreciate it. Carl R saying it's Friday night. Scissor us, Daddy Alexis. Alexis. Okay. Hold on. Oh, I keep doing that.
It's all good.
Remember, it's this.
Yeah,
way.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Double the Alex.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Billy Gunn can't. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So we got Jade doing pull-ups while cutting a promo. That was tough. Some of them. She is a strong lady. I really do appreciate what she has become, who she is. Her character feels real. Her motivations for staying champ feel real. I don't think they're going to do it, but I still say they should be moving towards a unification match between the AEW Women's Champion and this TBS, which is a made-up title they gave to Jade because they didn't want Jade to lose and they didn't want her to beat Britt Baker at the time. I am 1,000,000% on board with that conspiracy theory that they were like, we can't have Jade lose and we don't want her to beat Britt Baker, and we can't keep her away from Britt Baker for a while. Like, we can't do that because we can't do it. So let's make up a title. We'll have a tournament for it, but it'll obviously be Jade's title. Well, now the time is to actually have her, whenever we get Thunder Rosa back, if we're getting Thunder Rosa back and we unify the interim and the regular AEW Women's Championship, right after that, Jade should come out and say, great, now let's unify something else. Because there's only room for one top bitch in this company, and that's me. Like that right there, that's all you need to do to set it up. And then you have that match at a pay-per-view. It's a big, big deal. And then you replace the TBS division with a tag division, because you got plenty of women who know how to work tags. You got plenty of women who are friends who can work together. I think it's great.
Do you think they're going to do that with a title that's this early in? Like, it's only been a year.
No, I don't. I don't think they're going to do it. So here's the thing. There are two things that I predict. One, things that I don't want to happen that I know they're going to do anyway. And two, things I know they're never going to do, but that I personally want to see. This is the second one.
Yeah.
Those are only two times the things that I come up with.
Yeah, I do hope that they do something. I know that they're trying to build her to be a beast, and I don't think she needs to prove herself any further. She is a beast. Jade is incredible. But the belt would also feel a lot different on someone else, to make them. I don't think Jade needs the belt anymore. I think the belt needs Jade more than anything.
Yeah, that is true. Keith Lee in action. That's loosely defined because Serpentico tries one. Serpentico is like, I love that they do the whole Keith Lee entrance. They were like, Keith Lee in action. They never tell us who's wrestling. Keith Lee's whole entrance. Keith Lee. I love that news. Yeah, I love Keith Lee's theme. And he comes all the way down to the ring, and then they like show us his opponent in the ring. Serpentico was like, oh, Serpentico. And it was just one of those things like they have these guys on the roster for whom we are simply to express sympathy when we realize the plight they are currently in. And I love that, that's what they have on the roster for him. But he tries one knife edge chop and then gets power bombed to the center of the earth. And that's it. He
made it back to San Juan with that power bomb, by the way.
Yeah. Yes.
That was
it was very, very good. And then we get the Acclaimed.
Spooky Swerve. Oh, well, yeah, the Acclaimed. Yeah.
The Acclaimed coming out. We were with Billy Gunn all morning, and they disappeared. And Tony Schiavone, who's in there interviewing Keith Lee, is like, well, we understand Billy Gunn had a family emergency he had to take care of. Well, we're his family. He has no other family. He would have told us what's going on. We also noticed that Swerve's not here, so you must know what's going on, Keith. And Keith's like, honestly, I'm not Swerve. I am not my brother's keeper. I do not know what's going on. And then we get up on the screen Swerve from an undisclosed location. Now, if you know anything about Swerve, this dude loves. We lost Alexis. Where did Alexis go? Come back to me. What happened there? Okay. We get Swerve recording himself. This guy is very much a horror movie devotee. Alex is back.
Yeah, I don't know what. It just all of a sudden shut off.
He's filming himself very close. You can tell. And there's this great thing where he's talking about how, hey guys, how's it going? What's up? What are you doing? And then you hear something off screen, and it's obviously Billy Gunn. And then because this thing, I will go along with you with any kind of wrestling style, wrestling storytelling style, wrestling gimmick style, as long as it is done well with care and everybody commits to the bit. The problem I have with spooky crap is when it's done and people they're doing it half-assed. Like nobody really wants to be doing this. Like if you watch the Joe Gacy stuff on NXT, none of those people actually want to be doing this.
Right.
Like this is something that nobody's really committing to it. The writers don't want to write for it. The performers don't really want to be doing this gimmick. No, the people who are filming everything aren't doing it with any kind of real care to like do like ambiance or anything. Swerve loves horror movies. He fancies himself a director. Like he's done some really cool stuff, like short films he's put on Twitter. So quickly panning over and seeing Billy Gunn obviously tied to a chair over to his right. Hey, shut up. And then he pans right back and like, oh, this is interesting. And then he goes around behind him. He's like, I understand you're going to have a birthday celebration for Daddy Ass next week. The problem is he's not going to be here. He's going to be there because he's going to be in the hospital. And he brings up a couple of like bolt cutters things, like shears, little pinking shears and pinky shears, maybe. He goes around behind Billy Gunn and he's talking to him. And Billy Gunn, I love that Billy Gunn is like not having any of it. This is ridiculous. You let me go right now. He's not scared of Swerve. Like he's pissed. And he doesn't know what the hell's going on, but I love that he's like, and so basically you're not going to be able to scissor anymore. And so he reaches down around behind where his hands are tied behind him. And we are to assume he has cut off at least one of Daddy Ass's scissoring fingers, and Daddy Ass screams, goes, motherfucker. Like it's great. Like it feels really real. It felt like they were like, here's just some loose ideas for what you guys should be, because they were interrupting each other, which you would be in real life.
Yes.
And then like, it felt like nobody scripted this, like, oh, here's why you say this. And here's where you say this. It was it was really, really well done. Now, we'll see where it goes from here. But, I love the idea of Daddy Ass like coming out with like his fingers sewn back on or something, like a cast or whatever. I mean, we'll figure it, because he obviously didn't cut off his real fingers, but there's some interesting thing there. Like he's got the shears, like he's trying to cut it off. Like that's the whole point of those shears, was to do that. I thought this was excellently done, and I think the best part of all of it is you get Anthony Bowens and Max Caster running back up the ramp to try and figure out where this could be, and Keith Lee just going in the middle of the ring like, I don't know if I want to go after the tag titles with this guy as my partner, because he's psychotic. Like a little disagreement about, hey, you cheated and that's not very honorable, and I'd like to win the honorable way.
Yes,
that's one thing. You kidnapped the manager of our opponents and tried to disfigure him without my knowledge is a very different thing. Those are two different riffs that a tag team can have, and I think it works.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you see character development with Swerve right now in AEW, and it's good that they're letting these guys build some type of background for themselves. You know what I'm saying? He's a little psychotic. He's tired of the losing. Like he'll do anything. He lost the belt, so you know what? He's gonna take it to the next level. You need that because Keith Lee, Mr. Bearcat, is just nice and chill. You know what I'm saying? Like he's lovable and huggable, talks very smoothly, and you can see that his partner is the devil. He's looking for something. He's waiting to snap. Man, I thought it was great. I think the AEW has suffered from story development and going in depth with certain things outside of like their normal, like 1 year long storylines. So this felt good, fresh, and I hope they continue to do it.
Yeah. I see everybody in the chat trying to yell at me that they're pliers. They're not pliers, guys. What they are is, I realize what they are now. They're wire snips.
Wire snips, yes.
That's what they are. They're very small, but they have an edge to them. They're not meant to like break. They're meant to cut. And you can generate a lot of force when you clamp down on him.
Yeah.
Do I think he cut all the way through the bone? No. Do I think he gave him a serious injury with them? Yes. They are wire snips. That's what I was looking for, but they're
if you go to the florist, if you ever buy flowers, you'll see them use it to cut the ends of the roses off. So go buy your mom some flowers and you'll see.
There you go. Podrick Gillespie says my Swerve the House of Black fantasy booking getting realer. He's apparently he's into it. He's into that style of stuff. That's cool. When you disappeared, Carl R said Alex number 2 just got kidnapped by Swerve.
I popped so hard when I came back and I read that.
That is funny shit. That's
good.
By
the way, I just want to say what's up to TK. He's over on the Fightful gaming channel on Twitch. So I saw your message come through on the chat here. On he said go Bears because they play the Cowboys this weekend. But yeah.
We are also streaming on Twitch. You can watch us over there. Send in your bits. I believe Kate always says send us tig old biddies. I think that's the thing that she says.
Big old biddies.
Big old biddies. Okay.
I love them.
Good. I watched on a 55-inch TV too. They were wire snips. I'm not arguing with you about this. That is what they were. So
aren't pliers something that you use to like?
Yeah. They were not channel locks. They are different. They are similar, but they are different. Stop arguing with me. I will have you banned. They were wire snips. Both the hosts agree on this point. No more arguing about the pliers.
Google florists and see what they use to snip the ends of flowers at the end, man.
Yeah.
Trust me.
We got Ty Conti, or now not Ty Conti, it's not Guevara. There was another one there's another one that she uses now. And Ty Mello. There you go.
Ty Mello.
Ty Mello versus Madison Rain. It was a good match. Good women's match. Yeah. Ty wins, and I don't know what to say about it at this point.
The women matches, and I've spoken to Kate about this here on Friday nights, is that they've been getting progressively better. And this match, you can tell, was another step of them continuing to get better. There was a little, I want to talk shit. Okay, cool. We're gonna get it done. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But the girls are getting good, man.
Yeah. I thought this was fine. There was nothing. I wouldn't say like, oh, this was bad or oh, this was great. It was a good match. Good.
Showing a little shoulder to the chat. They're saying they can't stop looking at my shoulder, so I just wanted to show a little.
Apparently, I became like a clavicle guy. They were asking for
clavicles and shoulders. My God,
I know. Yeah,
they've got double the whammy today.
They look like players. They're wire snips. Even if they're not, I will hold on to this to my grave, and no one will ever get me to change my opinion. That is who I am. There we go. So Ethan Page got interviewed backstage. I love Ethan Page. I think he's fantastic. He is entering the tournament that will culminate in Full Gear. That gives you the championship match at Winter is Coming. And also Dante Martin is going to be in it. I don't think they're announced as that are meeting in the first round, but Ethan Page gives a good promo backstage of why they jumped MJF on Wednesday, because you changed the plan, man. You wouldn't even be #1 contender if we hadn't basically rigged the ladder match for you. And then you want to get all high and mighty and stand on your morals and everything. No. We made you #1 contender, and we were going to make you champion. And if you don't want to ride with us, that's fine. We can kick you out. We're done. And I thought that was good. He says that I'm going to win this tournament at Full Gear, and I'm going to go into Winter is Coming, and I'm going to beat Jon Moxley because let's face it, you ain't, Max. I love it.
Yeah, it's they're getting really in depth with that storyline. I like what they're doing. And you know what? I have my reservations. I think sometimes when you love someone and they're not listening, you got to beat the living crap out of them, and maybe this is the way of Stokely's crew, to beat sense back into MJF and, hey, listen, come Full Gear. Something could go down, so we'll see where it stays open. They could be swerving us.
I have an image in my mind. They're clearly wire snips, and I will stick to my guns forever. There were wire snips. You will never convince me otherwise. I don't care how many doctored images you tweet at me. I will never accept that they are not wire snips. This is what you have done to me, people. I thought that was good. It's time for the main event. It's Wardlow versus Matt Taven. I'm apparently I didn't realize I was. Am I wholly unfamiliar with the work of Matt Taven? Has Matt Taven always wrestled in Miss Piggy gloves, or is this a first time for him? Because I've never, I don't know, because they were very long upper length, not upper length, but they were long gloves. Wardlow brings attention to them in the time for the main event segment. But Matt Taven says he's coming back. It's going to make it the Taven National whatever Turner National TV,
the
whatever.
Taven,
National Television Championship,
something like that.
No, you're not. You're facing Wardlow, and Wardlow beats him. It's a decent little match. Taven gets to do some high flying stuff, and Wardlow eventually power bombs him a few times and wins. That's not the big news out of all of this. Immediately, he gets jumped from behind by Mike Bennett. It takes him out at the knee, which is something he'd been selling through the entire match. So that's a good little continuity. And there's a beatdown. And then Samoa Joe comes out to try and even the odds. And then we get Will Hobbs. We get Powerhouse.
Love him.
I love Powerhouse Hobbs. I think he's great. Him coming out here, it was like, I just love him just coming up like, I want that title and I want that title. You guys pick first which one I'm going to take. I thought that's what we were doing. But he hits the ring and immediately gets taken, and everyone behind Samoa Joe and Wardlow jump in, and it's all of the Embassy. And so remember how I was like, guys, you can't keep adding people to the babyface side because the heels need one more. FTR and War Joe versus what four guys? Because right now I see Brian Cage, I see Toa Leona. Honestly, he counts as 1.5, so it's really 4 on 3.5. And then I see Khan. I need one more dude. Who's the guy who's going to come in and be the de facto leader of this faction? And apparently that guy is Will Hobbs, and I can't think of anybody better. Those four dudes pack a wallop. I know there's a trios division. Can there be a quadros division? Because those guys win it. Those four dudes are big.
A lot of meat in that ring, bro.
Now, listen, to me, does this not signify that he is working in a permanent position with the Embassy? I don't understand why you would again, this is just me, the simplest answer should be correct. The simplest answer is he aligned himself with 3 big dudes and says, now no one's taken anything from me ever again. That's the simplest answer. If it's just hey, here's a one-off match and then I'm going to go do my own thing, my question would be why? Because know these 3 dudes can help you win belts and hold on to them. And you got a manager now who can get you all those top title shots in Prince Nana. I feel like that's what you should be doing. Maybe it's not, but to me, that seems kind of obvious.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit weird as they, add and subtract people from different factions. Like, what are their, what's their end game? Why are they there? There's a lot of questions to be answered. Obviously, I don't think they have the TV time to do that. So it seems like it comes out of nowhere, unfortunately. Right. But if you look at the bigger picture, when you see a bunch of big dudes being put together, I can only hope that they book these big dudes into big feuds and big storylines. And I don't know, with 2023 coming right around the corner in the next 2 months, do they have something coming down the pipeline for a Ring of Honor television deal? And if they do, where does that land? And that's when you see more storylines and hopefully the bigger picture. Right.
Yeah. I can't say how much I disagree with this. Hobbs in an ROH faction, no one knows is an L. All of those things are incorrect. Like an ROH faction, you can say ROH because it doesn't matter, but they're on AEW television all the time. They just had a very big match with FTR and Wardlow and Samoa Joe. These are big stars these guys have been facing. And then you bring in Hobbs to be a de facto leader of these groups, which is this is a group that kind of needed a leader. And you say, Will Hobbs is a leader, no longer a follower, no longer somebody's muscle. He's the leader of this group. If you do that, that's not an L. That elevates him. And if indeed they are going to get a ROH TV deal or a streaming deal or whatever, I've always said the best thing you can do is if you have a guy who seems like his ceiling in AEW is the top of the mid card, if you move him over to ROH and make him break that ceiling and become a title holder over there, you can then, after that run is done, move him back to AEW, and all of a sudden he's got more cachet because he was a top champion in the other place, and you can break that ceiling on another part of the building.
Agreed.
And then move him over the roof, and that's where he is over here.
Yeah.
That's to me is what they should do. I mean, if you can have your thing of like anything that has ROH has a stink on it. I just don't agree with that. I just don't.
I'm with you. I do hope that people see that, because that'll help the brand. Listen, you have Raw and SmackDown. They've both been around for over 20 years, right? And here's the problem. Half of the time, they don't even do what AEW is trying to do, like push people into different categories, right? They just kind of keep them pigeonholed in a box all the time. So if Ring of Honor does become a thing, and you can start flip-flopping people, like you just mentioned, where they're a mid-card here, but now they're on top of the food chain on the other channel, then you make them. That's how you make stars. You bring them up. NXT has done that. We've seen NXT. I gotta give them that. NXT people are insane on there, and they flip-flop with WWE. Look at Mandy Rose, resurrected her entire career.
And we see Hobbs giving Wardlow the big spine buster. We see him standing with the TNT title, and Cage standing with the ROH TV title over. So it looks like those two guys have set their sights, and if they can help each other achieve those goals, if that's what they want to do, because listen, obviously these guys have history. Cage and Hobbs. If Prince Nana says, "Hey, Brian, Hobbs, you used to run with him. Can you reach out to him and see maybe you and him can patch things up, and he can come and help us out, and maybe we can help him out." Right. Like the idea of two heels who want titles may not like each other, but realize they can each help each other out. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's one of the oldest heel arrangements in wrestling, and I think it works for that reason. I do appreciate it. I like it. So hold on here. Yeah. Jennifer says, "Hello, Double Alex. Hope Kate feels better. Tonight was fun. Originally, it was Claudio Yuta versus Angel Ange and Daddy Magic. That is true. We got so much big man meat at the end of Rampage. A lot of big man meat. A lot of big man meat.
I'm good with it, man. Yeah, I'm all right with it.
Yeah, me too. Listen. I mean, sometimes you have trouble achieving big man meat. Sometimes it's a thing that you'd like to have big man meat. You wish that the end of your night was full of big man meat, and you just can't quite get there. And Sean Rossap has something that might help.
Blue brand, red brand, black and gold, who cares? Bluechew. That's the real blue brand. And listen, if you want to make your paint splat, listen, it doesn't matter. The quality's going to improve with Bluechew. Your sexual performance, harder, stronger erections. Bluechew.com, code Fightful. Prescribed online, shipped straight to your door. Consult with an online physician, and if approved, it comes straight to you. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. Pay $5 shipping. That's it. $5 shipping, and get your first order free when you go to Bluechew.com and use the code Fightful. Have that main event performance. I know you might switch brands, yada yada. Don't do that. Stay with the blue brand. Stay with Bluechew.com, code Fightful.
Just in case you wanted to know how to get more big man meat in your night.
It made my mic stand up even further. Look at this.
We got a pretty great opening ish to SmackDown, and then my big man meat fell down. It was like it was not working out for me for the rest of the. Okay, so we get a match at the top. It's Solo and Sammy versus the Brawling Brutes. Sheamus has been ruled out with he just got married. So that's a terrible injury that might
that
last
is a bad
years.
injury. Yeah,
Could last years. You never know. We hope he makes a full recovery. But they wrote him off with an elbow problem. He's in intense rehab.
Wow.
They said. So it looks like Butch and Ridge are taken up for him versus Solo and Sammy. There's a little backstage thing where Sammy's like, Jay, I need you to help. All hands on deck. When the big tribal chief dog gets here, we got to make sure that he's happy. So like let's make sure we win. We got to make sure our hands are raised. So you help us out. Match is good. There's some help there from Jimmy, some help, some distractions. But Jay, they distract Pete Dunne, Butch, when he's on the top rope, and Sammy has enough time to recover when he's laying there. So he's like, come on, jump on me. I'm going to get the knees up and roll you up in a little small package there. But instead, Jay pulls Sammy out of the ring. He thinks saving him. And then, of course, that leads to Sammy getting rolled up himself. And there's an argument. And then Daddy shows up. Not Daddy Ass. We don't know where he is. But Daddy Roman shows up, and he is very he's very angry. But he like, I love that Michael Cole's like, oh, he's gonna make the Usos wait. which is good news for us because we were going to a commercial anyway. And they come back, and it's like, you guys are acting like children, so why don't you guys handle your business right here? Normally, I would say let's handle our business outside of the public eye, but you guys have been acting a fool, so this is your punishment. You're going to handle this now. And Sammy, of course, being really good about like, hey, listen, I just think things got out of hand. I really do. I think we got off on the wrong foot. I don't know why you don't like me. I like you. I've always liked you. But ever since I got hanging out with your family, you really don't like me. And he offers a hand, and Jay lets it hang there for a long time. And he brings out a microphone, and he says, you better get that out of my face in about 2 seconds or I'm going to kill you. And he just goes off on Sammy that you're not family. You're never going to be family. And it's like, and Sammy like, whoa, this is, I don't know why you're so angry at me. This is not me. This is what the tribal chief wants. And Jay, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief wants. And everyone in the arena goes, oh, that's how you know you got him in the palm of your hand. Yeah. When you obviously want to get that reaction, and you do, this is really, really well done. Everybody in the Bloodline has been doing fantastic work, playing their part, making it seem as real as possible.
Agreed. So
Roman turns around, and Sammy gets in the hey, no, Roman, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. Did you, Jay? No, you didn't mean it. Things got a little heated. He got a little out. He's under a lot of stress. Like, obviously, Jay has not been feeling very oozy lately. And I don't know, like, Jay had to know that line was coming because Sammy's used it in the past to good effect. But Jay broke like Jimmy Fallon in a Saturday Night Live sketch from years ago. Like, he had to turn away from the hard cam. His shoulders were going up and down. Roman was smiling, which he was not supposed to be smiling. But this was really good. He's like, okay, you're gonna shape up. You're gonna fix things, okay? Because if you don't, I'm gonna take away the honorary. I'll make him just an oos. We're gonna call him Sammy Uso. And when Sammy heard that, his face just lit up.
Yeah.
And to me, I do the whole thing of like, Sammy is not. He's a decent fella, but he's also. I don't think he'd be able to resist. So I think he's going to do stuff to provoke Jay to lose it on him, which would mean he could then be Sammy Uso. Like, he might actually make this worse for the whole group because he wants, if Jay gets kicked out, then he replaces Jay as Sammy Uso. And I think he wants that for himself. And I think that's the whole point of all of this. I still say we're getting to, at some point, a moment where Jay beats the absolute dog shit out of Sami Zayn, and Jimmy and Solo join in, and Roman watches. And it's going to be really, really, really hard to watch. I know that they're gonna sell the hell out of it. It's going to be an amazing moment. It may be one of the hardest moments I've had to watch as a wrestling fan, and I absolutely cannot wait for it because I know it's the culmination of all of this great storytelling. This was a fantastic segment.
Yeah, you talk about supporting cast in a film, and if you were to create what's happening with the Bloodline into a film, you know what? The family are the supporting cast to Sami Zayn. I'm just putting it out there. He is right now, from the facial expressions to the way that he's talking and delivering every single line, everything that he does, he's doing with a purpose. And he is right now the leading role in this whole mess, in this movie called Being Usi.
Very good. Very good. I like that. Leave a thumbs up if you're feeling Usi.
Hey,
Kate has not been feeling very Usi today. She's a little under the weather.
Sending love, Kate.
I thought this was an excellent opening segment, and here's the deal. I mentioned this before. They're doing Elimination Chamber in Montreal in February, which means I am legally allowed to refer to it as Elimination Chamber. And I will only call it Elimination Chamber from now on. But that is the only place that you can do this, because Sammy will be a god there, and people will be crying in the audience, like if you do it to Sammy there. And that's the perfect place also after Sammy is wiped out and he's left alone at his lowest point in front of his people. At his lowest point, that's when Kevin Owens comes out, another Quebec native who gets a huge response, comes up and he picks up Sami Zayn and they hug. And that's the beginning of their march to winning the titles at WrestleMania. It's a perfect story. It's if they don't do it there, it's like the biggest ball ever being dropped. Like I think that there's a really, really amazing way to do it. I think it's the place for all of it to happen.
Yeah, it sounds like that could be the place where the crowd will erupt. You want to talk about where you sometimes remember where you were at when something happened, dude? Anyone who's watching that pay-per-view will remember that day. If it goes like you just said, that's poetic, by the way, Alex. So just putting it out there. I think it should happen now. I don't know why you're not writing. Maybe we need to put in a call for you. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah.
Kate says migraines are the pits. I wish I could be on. Love you guys. Leave a thumbs up. So thank you so much. That was not me yelling it. That was Kate yelling it. Kate yelled it.
She used capital letters, guys.
Balls dropped. Ha 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 ha. And she's saying she's feeling more pukey than Usi.
Ooh.
That's not good. Nerd Guru says this entire Bloodline stuff is cinema. While they were all arguing and Roman's music, I audibly gulped. Roman has that presence, and when Jay said he don't care what the Trouble have said, Jesus, I felt that one too. This was incredible. This was an amazing segment. An amazing segment. And the rest of SmackDown just kind of felt like, all right, we got the big Saudi show next week. But so Orion Ben says, are you guys feeling Usi? Best breaking promo ever? Yeah. I just love it here because this is my thing that I thought of the whole time. When I think of, there's two ways I think of this. I don't think that Roman and Jimmy and Solo are sincere about what they're doing with Sammy at all. I think they think it's a rib on Sammy. It may also be a rib on Jay. That Jay is the only one who's not into it. Like, Jay, you have been a pain in my ass forever. And so we wanted to see what you would do if we started treating Sammy like he was in the Usos. Okay. Man. And so like that might be it too, because like Jay is the only one who doesn't seem to like Sammy. There's no reason why Jimmy or Roman or Solo would like Sammy. Jay's the only one not in on the joke. It feels like to me. Like, so when Roman is like, out about it, hey, okay, you stand over here. I'm not done talking to you yet, but he's smiling to himself because he also knows that this is a problem. Yeah, I I love when Daddy's here, says Cole. I think this was excellent. DNC Digital says take every Sammy bloodline consecutively, and you'll have a great series that Netflix will order a second season of. It's they've been doing it.
Even airs.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Here's money. Go. Yeah. I yes, I think that is true. For 100%. Yeah, I'm
wow.
Roman is the big mop, and Jimmy and Jay, and then Sammy is. Where's the solo mop? Kate is messing around in the back end of this thing. She's here. She's hanging out. She's like a gremlin, throwing in like mops and Libman mops.
The hell's a Libman mop, by the way?
I don't know. I have no idea what that is. But thank you, Kate. I appreciate it.
That's some hard Photoshop editing, by the way. Thank you, Kate.
Yes,
love you for that.
She did a great job with it. I gotta tell you. It was some of the best I've ever seen. Because we here on Sour Graps, we have something we call Moppelgangers. Hold on, I gotta get in the other thing here. Yeah, so let me get over here to the Sour Graps steel here. We have, of course, it started out with Mop Edge, which obviously
God
on this day I sweep cleanly.
I will never not see that, by the way.
Then we got Kenny Mop Mega, that's obvious. And then we got Moppelganger Kate, that's obviously Kate.
Oh wow. The bangs are parted too. Holy
it's
crap.
Perfect, right? It's absolutely perfect. And then we got well, this is Moppelganger Sean, but that's kind of like a cheat. I don't know, kind of a cheat. This one's me, of course. That's me. It's quite obviously me. I think it's a very good one. We have Moppelgangers. You'll be able to buy these online at some point. I think, like Wrestle Buddies, we'll have Moppelgangers. I think as long as Sean signs off on it, which of course he will not. So yeah, hold on one second.
Get your official Sour Grap shirts with Moppelgangers on it.
Yep. So here we go. We also I didn't want you to feel left out, so I had Ali C make one for you as well. There we go. There we go. That's Alex 2.0, the Moppelganger version. So
that actually is legit.
That's you, and this is me. That's not me. That's not me. I don't smoke. This is me.
Mop NFTs.
And then there's Moppelganger Kate. We have this now. This is the thing we do.
Oh god.
No, the Linda one, but the Linda one. We already have a Linda one. I like the Linda one from before. I'm not going to change the Linda one. The Linda's fine. Linda's fine. So Kate is here in spirit, so I'm going to leave her up on the screen for the rest of the time.
I like that, and it's a good separator, a good divider for us.
It is a good divider for us as well. I think that's great. Alex's mop is Skrillex. That's pretty good. So thank you, everybody. Yes, this is what we like to do. We are nothing if not a complete shit show, and I
love this.
So we got another Vikings and Sarah Logan promo. I think they'll probably make their re-debut sometime around the first of the year. because it does feel like nothing is happening in these promos. They're not getting any closer. They're just reminding us of their existence. That's fine.
And to eat meat out in the world and skin it. Skin all the animals.
That's right. That's what they do. We got New Day beating Maximum Male Models. Maxine Dupree is out there, just being sexy. It does feel like Maximum Male Models is a very low rent version of something. Like it, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like they're really committing to it at all. There's like, hey, these guys are vaguely fashionable. I do like Massey's mustache. I think that's a big addition to the group. But they lose to the New Day because that's what they're here for. This is their thing. You spent some time building them as this new act, but all they're here for is to lose matches to real tag teams in about 4 minutes.
God.
And that seems kind of sad to me. But like, you know, every company needs one of those teams. But I felt like you were really behind. Like, here's the deal. You're going to Saudi Arabia in a week. Mansoir's not coming. There's no way that he can run that gimmick in Saudi Arabia. He wouldn't make it back to the States. So like, no, I do not think. So yeah, like they did, the whole thing was he didn't, one of the recent ones, didn't they have him like go over Mustafa Ali there? Like it was a big thing and he won and it doesn't feel like they're going to do much of anything with him. But
that's sad.
Unfortunately. But New Day won because they're important that they keep winning, because though they do not have a tag title match at Sands of Time. Do they not have one at Crown Jewel? They don't have one there. They will have one soon because they need to be the team that stands in the way of the Usos breaking the New Day's record, which is poetic. I get it. That's fine. So you got to keep them strong, have them win on TV. That's fine. NCB says, see, if Jimmy was a good brother, he'd give Jay some Uzi hot to make him feel better. He's a bad brother.
Oh, God.
That's what Finn Balor says about Rey Mysterio's bad father, but Jimmy's a bad brother. Backstage, they are interviewing Sonya Deville. And what's a ridiculous question? I'm not going to answer Ronda Rousey's challenge, which is happening next, and I'm currently wearing a suit. Like, that's what she should have said. Like, next, Ronda Rousey's open challenge. Back from commercial, they interview Sonya Deville. Are you going to interview? Like, are you going to answer the challenge? I am wearing a suit currently. No, I'm not going to answer her challenge. But then she gets attacked by Liv Morgan, who has gone off the friggin' deep end. This is the character I think she's been wanting to play for years, because every time she starts doing it every now and then, and she does it for a couple of weeks and they pull back because that's not her doing. She wants to go here. She kept convincing Vince for like a week. Let me do this. And then he just stopped. They're really going for it now. I think it kind of works for her as the crazy girl who just won't stop. There's a big pull apart brawl. We're going to get Liv and Sonya next week on SmackDown. I think it's interesting. They're sending a whole bunch of people to Saudi Arabia early because you gotta. But there's a bunch of people on the SmackDown roster who aren't going. And so rather than have a taped episode before, they're going to just keep a lot of people here. They're going to have your Rey Mysterio and your Gunther match next Friday. And this Sonya and Liv, they're going to build that episode around that. Probably a lot of previews of the following day's matches and stuff like that. But I think it's decent. You're going to build around a couple of matches on next Friday's show. It's a good idea.
Yeah. That's SmackDown for you, though. I don't know. Like it just feels like they're cooling off. There's a cooling period off right now. I don't know what they're planning. They're putting other chips on Bray, and we'll get to Bray towards the end of the show. But yeah, that's what I just feel like they're doing right now. Everything else is just secondary to that storyline right now.
I think that the thing about it is that SmackDown is just I always look at them like, okay, they're gonna do this. what's the best way they can do the thing that they insist on doing?
Right.
I've stopped hoping for good things to happen. I'm trying to make the bad things they do better in my brain. And I think that this is a good thing. A good first feud for Crazy Liv is Sonya Deville, who can take a beating and dish one out too. You need somebody dishing out a beating for Liv Morgan, because part of her whole character is like, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" And you kind of need that. So I think this is fine. Do I wish they had dabbled in this while she was champion, especially because she was feuding with Ronda Rousey? Yeah, I really wish they had done some of that, as opposed to the only sign of this we saw from her. Really, I mean, she did the senton to Lacey Evans one week, but like, I really wanted to see her, like, instead of just like, I fell asleep while you were sitting on my face, and I was smiling while I was doing it, and it wasn't a sexual thing either.
Yeah.
But I wish they would have like done more of that. But yeah, I'm it is all right. So Ronda Rousey does have she does have an open challenge, and she comes out to the ring, and she has 2 lightning bolts right here. And I wonder if that means that that she went to jail for killing 2 electricians, or like what like the teardrop tattoos, but in the form of lightning bolts. It was
oh my God,
weird, little weird. Whatever. See, I aren't you all lucky that I'm here and I'm going to be wrestling in front of you? Bring out the next victim, and it's Emma. Now, Emma hasn't been in WWE in 5 years. Neil Dashwood's been in Impact for a long time, doing some good work over there. But there's a cross section, I believe, of people who watch WWE programming and people who watch Impact. There is a Venn diagram. It's just that little. It's a very small sliver. There's not a giant overlap, simply because there can't be, because of the ratings that Impact gets. There can't be that many people who have been following Emma's career as to Neil Dashwood in Impact, and she hasn't been around for 5 years. And the last time she was here, it wasn't like she was being booked to set the world on fire. So you have to go all the way back to like 2015, 16, when she was still doing really good stuff in her second stint in NXT, which is when I fell in love with Evil Emma with the aviator shades and the weird little half gloves. And she had this banger of a theme song. It was like, it was really cool, like dubstep kind of weird beat to it. It was like, it took off of her old little weird dancing theme song she had when she was a joke. It like took off on that and changed it into something more sinister. And she was doing really good work in NXT. They called her up. They were going to feud her with Becky Lynch when Becky Lynch was still a babyface before she ever did that thing where she was turning on Charlotte, when she was just a pure babyface who we all rooted for, but who lost all the time. They were going to feud Emma with her, and then Emma got hurt. And then when she came back, they were like, let's make you Emmalina, only not, because we're going to run the vignettes for a year.
Remember that? Yeah.
And then when she came back, she was like, I don't want to do this. And they just stopped it. And then she was Evil Emma again for like a week, and then they released her. I really like Emma as a character. If they actually do it right, she was doing some really good stuff in NXT. She had a title match with Asuka. That feud was actually really, really good. But nobody gave a shit when she came out to enter this challenge. Nobody remembered who she was.
No one.
And I felt really bad for her, because I think she's good. I think she's proven for years now in Impact that she's a perfectly serviceable top of the mid-card women's division wrestler. And it felt like it was like, who is this now?
Here's the problem that we have. The WWE women's roster, there's women that they can be using. There's women that are missing.
Yep.
So you had someone like a Lacey Evans who you spent all this money on, all these vignettes and all this stuff. And what is she doing? She's opening up, she's doing fitness videos on Instagram and everything else outside of professional wrestling, right? So, you're bringing people back either to fill the roster or just to bring them back, or just to have them there where, other people won't take them. And we know who those other people are. So why can't we use a Lacey Evans in that spot? There's so many females in that roster that you can actually use, there's a handful that are gone, some that are injured, but other than that, dude, there's a lot of people coming, that are there that should be in the run for some type of TV time. I don't know.
I agree. It is odd. Like, would I rather watch Emma in the role of Aaliyah, or taking up the same TV time? Like, if you're telling me here are people who are available who will take up some TV time over the course of the year, your options are Aaliyah, Lacey Evans, or Emma. I'm taking Emma 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if those are my choices, like I think she's better than that level. Yeah. But if that's the level she is, you can only pick one of those three. I'm picking Emma. Yeah. Like, that's just me.
I get it. It's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? You're bringing up someone who hasn't been here for 5 years over other people who are trying to get on TV. I don't know. I guess different flavor every day.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. So Rousey defeated Emma. She cheated.
I was shocked. By the way,
she went to go for the eyes. So Ronda now not only cutting heel promos on the town she's going to, now she's taking shortcuts where she never had to before. So now she's really sitting into this heel thing, which is good because we want her to be the heel when they inevitably do Becky versus Ronda next WrestleMania. So that's good. She ends up taking her out with the armbar. Backstage, her and Ronda and Shayna reunite briefly, and then Natty, the boat shows up and says, "Hey," and she shoves Shayna out of the way like she's a piece of trash. And she's like, "Hey, move, Shayna. You're lucky that I didn't answer your challenge, or you would be." And then Shayna just chokes her the F out. Like, it's just like the kind of Shayna that I've been wanting forever. And if Ronda as champion just has Shayna as the girl who follows her around and chokes out all the women she's feuding with, I'm super into it. It would be really good. And eventually they can do the thing if they want to. I don't think they're ever going to do it, but they can do a Shayna like realizing that Ronda's a piece of trash who treats her like garbage. Yeah. And she can kind of have a problem with that, and they can have their feud there as well. But I really like that. Natalia, when was the last time we saw Natalia? I don't know when, but the first time we've seen it, and like it feels like months. She shows up and says, "Hey, I was going to answer your challenge if Emma didn't beat me to it." Anyway.
And that sounds like the line that she drops every single time she's on TV. I'm sorry. That's like, unfortunately, that's her role now.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It really is. But I'm excited to see Rousey and Shayna together. I think it's the thing that makes it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Hit Row and Legado had their triple threat match. And Legado comes out, and here's the thing. I kind of question this whole pairing. Like, I know that they have history and they've worked together before, and very well, mind you, in matches in NXT. Like, they have a good chemistry. But Hit Row did not come back that recent, that long ago. They've been back fairly recently. So it seems to me that what you were doing with them was great. You were having them come out, cut promos, beat very quickly and with ease your established tag teams that were already there, because it seemed to me like you were trying to raise them into something that we could take seriously for maybe a number one contenders match, them versus Imperium or something. So the winner takes on the Usos or something like that. It seemed like there was something you could do. And also, you just brought up Legado. And to me, the reason that Legado worked so well in NXT was because it was unquestioned who the leader of Legado was. It was Santos Escobar. That dude's $1 million walking around. He's so great. He could cut promos. He's so effortlessly cool. He looks amazing in not only his gear, but in all the suits he wears. He's fantastic. But you decided to bring them up with Zelina. So it looks like he is co-hosting this group. Like Zelina is at least taking as much focus as he is. I do not think you needed her to make the group work. I don't think you did. Maybe they thought that, but I don't think you do. So now it just kind of feels like he's like the lead henchman to her being in charge of it. And that doesn't work. That's not what made Legado work. What made it work was Santos's guys and him, as opposed to Zelina's here, and I'm kind of deferring to her. It doesn't feel as unified in that way. So now you immediately feud Legado versus Hit Row, and you can't elevate both of them at the same time because that's not how you book feuds. You can book a feud where both teams, no matter who wins, come out ahead of where they were when they started it, but that's not how WWE books shit. So you got to pick one, and you inevitably hurt the other team that loses, and I don't think you should do that with either of these teams. They both have a lot of potential, especially the biggest potential being their new faces, and some of the old stuff just feels so stale. So in this thing, Hit Row's got a surprise partner. It is a huge surprise to me. It is Shinsuke Nakamura. It shouldn't be, because a couple of weeks ago on NXT, the character who is a mob kingpin needed somebody to teach his henchmen a lesson. So he said, I'm going to get somebody for you to face. I want to see if you really got the stones. And the guy he picks is Shinsuke Nakamura. I was like, does Tony D's family have connections to the Yakuza? Like, I don't know why Shinsuke's here. And then a couple weeks later, Shinsuke's just like, he's have boots will travel. Yeah. Like he's just wrestling for anybody. He's a total hired mercenary. He looked good in this match. I actually want to see him versus Santos one-on-one, but I would book Santos to win. Absolutely. And I just don't know where we're going with all of this. It feels kind of counterintuitive to me. Santos didn't feel when he was in the match as the unquestioned top guy of everyone in the match, which he needed to feel like to me. I love the spot where Top Dollar went up to the top rope like a luchador. I thought that was really cool. I wanted to do like a full Mexican arm drag off the top, but I knew I wasn't going to do that. This was a fine little match, but a lot of the way that it was set up and how it was put together and how it was all laid out kind of was weird.
Yeah. I don't know what they're trying to do with them, unfortunately. It's just, I think they're stuck right now. They're kind of stuck. They're trying to figure out what to do with them. They're trying to see what works, what doesn't work. I'll tell you that ski mask didn't work for me.
He was dressed up as Mr. Sacco.
Utterly ridiculous to me. It was off. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I don't know why this is in there, but God bless you, Luis says there's a whole segment here, a part of the rundown, a bullet point that says Michael Cole roots for the Astros.
Oh yeah, he did.
He says that. I don't know. LA
he
Knight
says it loud
interview,
and proud.
Yes. In the MLB ad. Okay, I missed that. I was running around doing laundry. LA Knight had an interview interrupted by Ricochet. Ricochet versus LA Knight could be a really, really great little match. I don't think it's going to be anything beyond a good little match, but that's fine. LA Knight needs to be like, you bring him. Here's the thing. Triple H keeps bringing back, repackaging all these people, and then they like don't do anything with them immediately. to me is like, if you're, this is the biggest thing. We got a backstage Braun Strowman promo, which is great because at some point between last week and this week, someone coached him on how to say Omos, because I swear to God, last week he was saying Amish. Hey, Amish.
Yeah.
Amish, I'm gonna come get you, Amish. Okay, no, they taught him how to say Omos, which is good. But he's got this thing with the Battle of the Giants. I get it. It's an old attraction match. It's fine.
Yeah.
You're doing it in Saudi Arabia. It's a one-off. That's fine. But Braun got a huge reaction when he first came back. Huge, enormous. He keeps getting big reactions when he comes out and beats up people. We've seen in the past that if you actually buy into the honest reaction of these fans to Braun Strowman, that there's something big, and then they like always would cool him off or whatever. They didn't want to do anything with him. So my thing is that you bring him back and he gets a huge reaction and you don't really do anything with him. And that's kind of that's part and parcel of what they do to everybody. You're bringing back all these people. They get reactions or they don't. In the case of some of them, you repackage people, but do you have plans to use them in a specific way? No, they're just on your roster.
Correct.
And I think there's like, here's you sign somebody, and to me it would be a bigger deal if you did this. Sign somebody, keep it hush hush as much as you can, and say, we're going to have you work out, stay at home, and when the time is right, we'll debut you. We know we're using you for this spot in this match, in this feud, but we're not going to bring you back until that time because that's when we're going to give you the push. If you just bring somebody back here and just have them just like sit on the sideline 2 out of 3 weeks, well then why'd you bring them back?
Yeah, it's again, it's you know what they're trying to do. We don't need to say much. Like Braun, and I've been saying this here with Kate. I've been saying it over and over, and I'll say it again. He is so one-dimensional. He is good for one thing and one thing only. There is no character depth. There is nothing else you can do with him. You can't get anything out of him. His promos are so generic. I closed my eyes when he was talking, and I thought I was listening to a Hogan 1986 circa promo. Okay, because that's what he sounded like. Let me tell you something. I'm going to go after this big guy, this stinky giant. That's what he just said. That's exactly what he sounded like. Sorry, guys, but that's Braun.
Well, the thing of it is that Braun is absolutely in WWE in the wrong decade.
Yes.
Like in the late 80s, he would have been the biggest heel they had in the company. They would have rode him versus Hogan into the ground forever, and nobody would have gotten tired of it because they totally would have made it work. And but they brought him in and they were like, oh crap, we caught lightning in a bottle with this big guy that everyone seems to love, but we really need to make Roman Reigns the top babyface. I know. Right. Let's feud him with this giant guy who tips over ambulances that everybody cheers for.
Right.
That'll work. And it didn't. And so they had to cool him off because people were cheering for him over Roman. And it was like 2017 was a very
right.
Time.
It was.
And so it was a very it was.
I don't know, man. It just to me it's just like a lot. I would prefer to have a more meaningful, smaller roster, and this goes for both companies. With people that you can throw around in different feuds, and in the case that things might start getting stale, then you go out and bring in people. But man, I don't know. Braun just doesn't do it for me, man. Choo Braun, no, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing is like it's kind of funny. Like he doesn't do it for you. A lot of times he doesn't do it for me. He does it for the live crowd. So you got to figure out a way to use him for the because the reaction he gets, he sells stuff for you.
The kids love to see him come in and barrel through people, and but outside of that, like you're cheering with your son and daughter, but if you're seeing it there with your buddies, you're like, boo this man.
Here's the problem: is this what they do? Is that you have the actual real top guys over on Raw? The only belt they have to compete for is U.S. title. So you got Rollins and Lashley doing stuff for the U.S. title when they should be feuding over the WWE title on Raw. Okay. And then you have a mid card that's available to go after the U.S. title. If you had, didn't put all the titles on the Usos, you'd have a Raw tag team titles and a small SmackDown tag team titles, and you could get Braun and some other big guy, or Braun and a little guy to go after the tag titles, and they would be there doing something. The crowd could get excited for them, and they would have a purpose on the show. The problem with having all the titles on 3 guys, is that if they're not there, all these people are just like hanging out, doing stuff for no real reason. You got to invent grudges for them to fight over, as opposed to, you have a title. I want a title because I am a professional wrestler. I will fight you for the title. But if the titles don't exist, they're just people just hanging out, doing nothing.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now on the very last post show of October that the Raw and SmackDown and NXT draft is a real thing, and it is coming. And we're only going to see how this is going to shape both rosters, and I hope that it does it for the best. Maybe these underlying stories are just boring right now because, they're going to be gearing towards this. So, yeah.
LA Knight versus Ricochet happening next week. So that's LA Knight, Ricochet, Sonya and Liv, and Gunther and Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio gets jumped by Imperium backstage. So that is being happened. Now, we also got announced during this particular episode, Bayley versus Bianca again at Sands of Time in Crown Jewel, Saudi Arabia. Last woman standing match.
Yeah.
Now, if you watched Raw, and God help you if you did, it ended with a very odd angle. It was Bianca versus Bayley in a non-title match. That was supposed to be the end of the feud, they said. No matter what.
That's right.
This is the last match they were going to have. Yeah. Why is the last match they're going to have even being a non-title match? Doesn't make any sense. But at the end of the match, a wild Nikki appears out of nowhere, jumps off the top rope, takes out with a crossbody Dakota and Io and the ref. Then she gets in the ring, hits her finisher on Bianca, and pulls Bayley over and covers Bianca. New ref runs out. Ref counts 1, 2, 3. Nikki actively cost Bianca the title and the match, and made sure Bayley won it.
Yeah.
Then after the match, she goes in and attacks both of them. So to me, and she's standing there, the last image we get is her wild hair, her being crazy. She's just standing tall. She's announced herself as part of this women's division again. And I thought, okay, so you're booking the triple threat at Sands of Time Crown Jewel. And maybe you want Bayley to go over finally, and you just don't want Bianca to lose to do it. You have Bayley pin Nikki Cross. That's how you get out of it. That's fine. They did a triple threat there last year with Becky and Sasha and Bianca. So maybe they'll do it again this year. That's the only thing that makes any sense considering what they did with Nikki. And so no, they're not doing that. They're doing Bayley versus Bianca, last woman standing. And I don't understand why we did the end of Raw then, to me. Like
it's what was the show what was the group that she was in? Oh, damn it.
Which one?
Nikki Cross. Damn it, I forgot the name of it.
Sanity.
Sanity. Yeah. They're bringing back Sanity. That's it. This is all this means. Just crazy Nikki's back, and and they're gonna bring the band back together again. That's what's gonna happen. I don't know. It's just so I don't know, man. Maybe there's something bigger that we don't know. Maybe we're lost somewhere. We're not reading into things.
Yeah. So we got Karrion Kross versus Madcap Moss. This is the only time you're ever going to hear me say this. Poor Madcap Moss. Like he did everything you asked him to. He told all those stupid friggin' jokes. You put him over Baron Corbin in their feud after he turned on Corbin. You put him out there as a baby face with wearing Goldberg's gear, trying to get the crowd up and going crazy, and people seem to enjoy him. You kept saying what a big baby face he was and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, and now you're just going to feed him to Karrion Kross, who again has it is a really bad student film is his entrance. Like the black and white, and she's out there in this shroud, and all he does is kind of like saunter past her, stand in front of her. She takes off the shroud and walks around him, and then she walks to the ring without him, and while lip syncing this. There are so many ways to make this entrance what the people who like it seem to think it is, but it isn't. And the match is whatever it is. It's fine. Madcap gets a comeback, and he's about to win the match, but he's doing a thing where he keeps doing one of his big deals is guy in the corner, sprint up, do the spear through the guts, run back, spear through the guts, keep doing it. That's his big build up before he hits his finisher. So he runs back toward the empty corner, and Scarlett is standing there, just simply standing there on the middle step of the ring steps, not doing anything, not like saying anything, not posing sexually, just existing. And he has to stop because he's so distracted and turn around and immediately get beat up, clothesline by Kross, and then his elbow finisher or whatever. If you are that distracted by your opponent's wife simply existing, you deserve to lose. Like, don't book your guys to be this dumb. Just don't.
I'm starting to miss Karrion Kross the Gladiator. Or Killer Kross, or whatever the hell they wanted to call him.
Yeah. So, Kross wins, and then after he wins, puts him in the chokehold. His really weird little chokehold that he does, where he's like, he's choking him, and he's cranking back on his own arm to like tighten it up, but it's really loose anyway. You can tell how loose it is. So sometimes it just looks like he's doing this. You know how all the Peanuts kids would stand on a wall. They just like, I don't know. Do you think the little red-haired girl is going to invite me to her Valentine's Day dance? That's what he looks like choking a guy out. But he
and yelling.
But he gets on the microphone and he cuts a promo to Drew McIntyre, who is attending Sheamus's wedding, by the way. He's not there. You know this. And he's choking out Riddick Moss the whole time he's doing it. This man is unconscious and being choked to death for 20 seconds while Karrion Kross says nothing. Just a generic heel promo in the direction of Drew McIntyre, and only when he is done doing his promo do we see the officials step in and try to stop him from literally murdering a man. Because no one wants to be interrupting Iggy. Stop it! No, nobody wants to do that. Come on. This all just feels weird to me. Like you debuted Kross. Like, listen, I don't like the guy, but at some point they really did, because they debuted him leading up to the big Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns match at Clash at the Castle. They had him take out Drew in front of Roman Reigns and stare daggers at Roman Reigns afterwards. It really looked like, to me, they were positioning him at the top of the card. And now it feels to me like he's just a dude who occasionally comes out and beats up a guy. Like, again, you can't bring back everybody at the same time if you're not like going to have a complete hierarchy of who's getting pushed, and then the next guy, and then the next guy. And if it's anybody below that third guy, don't bring them back right then, because you're too full of people right now. Hold off for a couple of months, then bring back another wave of people, give them a push. Whatever.
And that leads me to always complaining about these bloating of the rosters, because catering needs to be full, Alex. Let's just put it that way. People, if you're going to be ordering food for your wrestlers and your performers, you need to be able to have people in there, not all out in the ring or on the gorilla position. So,
right.
Yeah.
Carrying a mop.
Carrying a mop. I get it.
Yeah, there you go. So there was a whole little backstage thing they did last week for Bray Wyatt, where he was talking about, before I was so rudely interrupted the week before by the other person, I never got to tell you what I was going to tell you, which was that you guys brought me back. I was gone. I was never going to come back. I was at the lowest point ever, and you guys, it was you who brought me back, and I want to thank you. However, you should know that you probably shouldn't have brought me back, because now that I'm back, I'm going to do some really horrible, violent things to a lot of people. And I actually liked that twist of the first promo, which is true. You guys reached out to me at my lowest, and you brought me back from the brink. Thank you. But you should know, and I kind of apologize for this, but you should know that because you brought me back, some people are really going to suffer. I just want to let you know ahead of time, because I wanted to thank you and tell you that, because we have that relationship. I think that was good. However, this promo that he cut completely retconned last week, where he was coming out like, thank you, everybody. I love you so much. You're the greatest, and you're my people, my fireflies, and I love you. Thank you for bringing me back. And it's like, but what was the thing last week where you were like, you probably shouldn't have done that, though? It does feel like they just tried to like retcon everything, like basically like so that maybe they lost the script. They didn't know where it was, and they're trying to find it, but it was locked behind all of these different zones they couldn't get into, and so they need the Nord.
NordVPN.com/Fightful. Browse safely, browse securely, change your virtual location with just one click on all your devices. Multiple tiers that allow you to get exactly what services you want. 4 months free, a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get access to content that's geo-blocked in your area. Get access to pay-per-views at a much more affordable price, thanks to that content that you unlock with NordVPN.com/Fightful. Block annoying pop-up ads, block malware. NordVPN.com/Fightful. How are you going to pass this up? Really? How? I use it every day. Every day. It makes my browsing experience so much better. You should do it too. NordVPN.com/Fightful.
I agree.
But he's interrupted again, this time while talking about how much he loves everybody. And this time he's interrupted by Uncle Howdy.
Jesus.
There's one version of the mask which he came out with at Extreme Rules that is all solid. Like it seems like almost wooden or stone or something, the way that it was like this one solid piece that was very intricately carved. But now he takes it off, and there's another mask. This one is like, it almost is, it looks like he's it's like a prosthetic, like he's wearing somebody else's face, like a different face was grafted onto him. But this is obviously Bray Wyatt under the mask, but he's playing a different character. They have like real hair that is the mustache now. There's a goatee with like braided ends of a mustache. He's wearing an interesting little top hat with barbed wire or something around it, like a crown of thorns, maybe. I'm less willing this week than I was last week to quote unquote let it play out. The Uncle Howdy, because he says, I'm the ghost of the man who sold the world. You killed the world. A bunch of nonsense. Honestly, it's poetic, but it is nonsense. I'm willing to see how they tie everything together. It does appear that they're trying to do this thing where like Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy are not the same person. They are different people because they keep keeping them apart, and they haven't yet done the thing that they're eventually going to do, where they say Uncle Howdy, Bray Wyatt, like they did with the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and like no, like the Fiend had to be separate. That was the whole point of it, that Bray Wyatt and the Fiend weren't the same person until he was like, they are. Everyone knows it. Let's just tell them they are. Like you have to like what did I say about the Swerve thing? Commit to the bit. Really commit to what you're doing. Have some care in how you're crafting it. I believe there is care in how they're crafting it. I'm not saying it's well crafted, but they do have care in what they're trying to do. I don't get it yet. And I think that there's some drips and drabs that we're going to get that it's going to try and explain it. I just don't know how well. I'm very intrigued as to what the Uncle Howdy character is, but I would be lying if I said that I was not dreading while also gleefully anticipating the moments where Michael Cole very seriously has to tell us about the malevolent goings on with Uncle Howdy.
God.
Like you can't give the guy the name Uncle Howdy. The whole like there wasn't that like a euphemism for the devil in like an old Stephen King novel? They called him Captain Howdy, but like it wasn't like, nope, that wasn't, he didn't say, hi everybody, I'm Captain Howdy. It was like that was just what we called him. Like it was this kind of this thing because there was no name for it. So like hey everybody, I'm Uncle Howdy makes the character into kind of a laughing stock, as opposed to like if this is Bray's boogeyman that he's been trying to escape since he was a little kid, and that's what he called him when he was a boy, which is why it terrifies him. But just coming out and going like, hi, I'm your Uncle Howdy. What? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, I understand people are drinking the Kool-Aid. Anything that he does is the most amazing thing in the world. I'm still, in my, I'm going to give it 9-month thing. Right. Is Bray going to have a baby in 9 months? And what is that baby going to be? Mm-hmm. Right? So month 1 is coming to an end. And all we've gotten is QR codes and Uncle Howdy. Great. All right, now we're going into November. I want to see how else is he going to fight himself? Are this his demons, or is he fighting his own henchmen? Wyatt, is this going to lead to the Wyatt 6? Mm-hmm. What is this leading to? So I'm open-minded. I'm going to give it time. Like I said before, I'm going to give it about 9 months and have this baby.
Captain Howdy was the name of the devil in The Exorcist. The demon, that's what Regan called the demon in The Exorcist. The little girl called him Captain Howdy. Which is like, it's creepy if it's a little girl who's calling the demon that is possessing her Captain Howdy, because a little child wouldn't have the facility to come up with a really spooky name. Like, that's fine. But I'm your Uncle Howdy is not the way you introduce a spooky character to me.
They can't get away from the spooky. Oh, you killed him. And then they show the Fiend.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is that like he was killed,
right?
Strangeland. No, it's not Strangeland. I've never seen Strangeland. It had to have been Exorcist or something like that. It's one of those things. Whatever. Anyway, Shake Salazar says 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and they have Bray rambling with gibberish on the mic, like Pawlowski, which is my.
Oh man.
He does look extremely similar to Barry Windham. Like the character does with the goatee and everything and the hat. The thing that's creepiest to me are the eyes, which are like half lidded. One of them off center, looking weird ways. Like the eyes don't look like real eyes. Like the you can tell that's a real mouth behind the mouth, but I don't know where the fake eyes end and the real eyes begin. Which is like, if you're doing the mask, do the mask creepy. Okay, fine, cool. Break Salazar says Uncle Howdy is the worst name, one of the worst names they could create for a spooky gimmick. Uncle Howdy sounds like somebody who should have been Festus and Jesse's uncle. Yeah. It's one of those things of that people will say you're overanalyzing it. The name doesn't matter. Like, no, it does. You chose the name to present this character. This is the character that you want to be a major player going forward for your television audience. And you chose the name Uncle Howdy.
The whole story matters because this is what everyone they wanted, right? So now that you have it and you have Uncle Howdy is, 1 month in,
right.
But there's two sides. People are gonna love it, and then there's the people that are just trying to give it its time.
It does also look like Jeff Jarrett. It really does look like Jeff Jarrett, like current version of Jeff Jarrett. That's what the match looks like.
Didn't his contract end with them completely?
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah.
One eye hole was smaller than the other. That's true.
Could be Bo, guys. Bo was also signed with him. It was part of the deal.
So. Honestly, if it's Bo if Bo is playing Uncle Howdy, I'm way more in than if it's Bray trying to do both. Because here's the thing, we're all supposed to think that it's Bray in the ring and a pre-recorded message up on the thing, which is Bray also doing it. The first time we see Bray and Uncle Howdy in the flesh, in the ring together, with Uncle Howdy obviously cutting a promo or doing wrestling moves to him, all of a sudden it opens up a whole new world of what they can do. And that's what I really hope. That's what I really hope. Yeah. Joey Olstad donated $1 in a super chat. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Sky Singe became a 5-month member on Twitch.
Thank you and welcome for 5 months.
But remember, if you can sub for free, if you connect your Twitch account with your Amazon Prime account, just, there you go.
Jeff Bezos.
Tom LaValle wants Orange Cassidy to fight Suzuki. We're going back to Rampage here. Still owed that match, I think. Kaze ni Nare. And Nerd Guru goes back to the end of Rampage. Rampage has ended in the same brawl for 2 months. Tony Khan loves his ending brawls. He loves
I'm with it.
One guy getting jumped by two guys, odds get evened, and a whole bunch of more guys come in and beat up the second two guys. That is a push button in case of non-emergency. I'm just gonna spam the two guys get beat up one guy, second guy comes in, whole bunch of guys come in. There's a button for that, and I'm just mashing that button, and I'm So there you go.
I'm with it.
So that was fun, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Kate, thank you for being here too. The Kate Mop is here. She's been here the whole time. I appreciate it.
I'm scissor mop Kate.
Hold on. Scissor me, Mama Kate Mop. Moppa Kate. All right. Thank you, Alex, for doing this. Appreciate it. It's always fun.
Thank you. I love being here on Friday nights. Dueling
Alexis. It's fun. Hope you guys had fun too. Leave a like on your way out of here. And you, Alexis, tell them where they can find you. What else are you got going on?
Yeah, man. So as you guys know, I'm producing Wrestling with Freddie that comes out every single Wednesday. We're talking some good stuff out there with Freddie Prinze Jr., who's hopefully soon going to drop some dimes on his wrestling federation that he's going to drop. There's some really good people behind it that I will not be able to share with you, but soon enough, the man will let you know. Other than that, you guys can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm active, as well as on Twitter. Just look for Alexis Cardoza, and you'll find me. I got the pretty little ugly face.
You can follow me on the Twitter at Alex Pawlowski. I always do stuff over on Fightful Select as well. The big thing we got going on next weekend is me and Kate doing a Sands of Time review. We call it Sands of Blind because I am not watching the show when it is on. I'm going to try and do a full media blackout all day, so I don't know what happened. Then nice. Kate is going to tell me what happened. Well, I don't know what's going on. And during the entire recap of the show, she is going to tell me 3 lies. and I have to pick out what she has lied to me about while not really knowing what it was, what happened at all. It was so much fun the last time we did it. One of our biggest shows we've ever done on Fightful Select. So I hope you guys come back and do that for November 5th. It should be a lot of fun.
Hey, and the holidays are here. I hope you guys have a great weekend of trick or treating. I mean, we're literally now, it is Christmas. I don't care what anyone says.
Thanks, everybody. Be safe. Trick or treat. Get some candy for me. Not really though. It'd be kind of hard to ship it. Anyway, bye everybody. They were